The Japan vs France match wasted absolutely no time, as from the first chapter, France struck fast and already had put a point on the board. With the Blue Lock chapter 331 leaks dropping today though, we will get to see how Japan can respond and just what France's defense is made up of. Without further ado, make sure to subscribe to the channel, comment down below your thoughts after watching, and let's get right into today's leaks. Today's leaks begin as usual with some intro text that states, "The final stage begins. The one who seized control of the game and scored the decisive goal is..." We then get another angle of Julian Loki's shot piercing the back of the net, as the French crowd is of course shown roaring in excitement and getting hype over this amazing start to the match. As the commentators scream out for the goal and sit in awe at just how fast that first attack was, the Japanese fans themselves are left looking worried. And let me say, Ego Jinpachi does not look happy at all. Oh my. Somebody tell bro that he has to tighten up that defense and not like triple mark one single threat. Anyways, pages 2 and 3 bring us an amazing double spread. However, like I said in the intro, some of these pages are unfinished, and sadly this is one of them. I can absolutely see the vision though, and it looks so amazing still. Charles Chevalier is being held up on Hugo's shoulders looking all excited over his first goal. Julian Loki meanwhile is in the back looking all smug as he holds up a 1 to the audience to indicate the score. We see the fit too, bro. I mean, come on now. You do not need to aura farm on Japan like this. Speaking of Japan, we cut over to their side of things in the defense as we see Dumber, and I guess Karasu reacting to France's goal as somehow triple marking Loki did not seem to be the play. What a surprise. Being the good captain he is, Oliver Aiku of course apologizes for the mishap. Meanwhile, Nico is just confused because that pattern was not in their data on France at all, and Karasu is just out here listing off everything France is amazing at, which is just everything. With Karasu thinking back on how the play happened, it seems like he realized that everyone was swept up in Julian Loki's overwhelming sprint, which allowed Charles to score his contrarian opener. He even goes on to say that the goal was not something you could just reproduce, even going as far as to call Loki France's winning formula and the definite #1 of this new generation. You heard it here first, everyone. Even Karasu agrees with my new generation ranking list, which you should totally check out after this video. And seriously, thank you so much for the support on that video, by the way. And the Itoshi Sai fans that sent me death threats. Page 6 then shifts the focus to Reo as we see him clap his hands together, clearly trying to reset everyone mentally after that opening blow. He and Aiku bump fists as Reo starts breaking down what just happened, pointing out that France's tactic is not just overwhelming individual skill, but how they fused that skill with absurd speed. Reo explains that they intentionally drew everyone's attention towards Julian Loki, using his sprint and presence to pull the defense in before exploiting the gaps that form behind it. Isagi then calls out from behind them, stepping in to encourage the team himself. He tells them that Reo's right about staying level-headed as the match has only just begun, and in Blue Lock, even a single point can change everything. He urges everyone to stay focused and concentrate. Hiyori responds calmly, calling him an egoist as usual, while Bachara chimes in, saying that from here on out, it's a battlefield of instincts. Isagi closes it out by telling everyone not to rush, reminding Blue Lock to stay composed as the match continues. With the match kicking off once again with Isagi tapping the ball forward to itoshi, he tells the team that the best way to win is to just keep moving forward. Even the commentators are enthralled by this matchup despite being Japanese themselves, wondering if their team will be able to mount a counterattack against France's defense. As itoshi uses Bachara as an anchor to 1-2 past 2 defenders, the contrarian Charles comes in to ruin all of their plans. He cuts in from Reen's left side and wraps an arm around him, simply pointing out that they've already seen this tactic before. Charles explains that Japan used this same build-up in their first match against Nigeria, constructing play through the midfield to conceal who the eventual finisher would be. As Charles continues to hold Reen back with all of his strength, which can't be a lot, another French defender named Batch charges in at full speed towards the ball as Charles shouts out for the pincer. Despite the pressure and doing everything he can, Reen still manages to catch them both off guard, firing off a quick pass to his right and safely away from danger. Of course, the target of this pass sprinting up the right wing is Chigure Hyoma, who we see running just ahead of Chappa as the ball bounces perfectly into his path. With the ball lifting off the ground, Chigure swings through it with a cross towards the box, and we see Reo compliment the princess on the quality of that pass. As the cross arrives towards its destination, Reo Mikage leaps into the air and begins to initiate a copy, making it look like he's about to go for a header. 3 defenders immediately swarm him though, while the goalkeeper braces himself in preparation, somehow claiming that they expected this. Instead of shooting, we see Reo instead copy Kunagami Rinsuke and flick a headed bounce pass down towards Isagi Yoichi, who is running the perfect route with his metavision glowing and a bright smile on his face. Isagi compliments the chameleon on the play while looking completely locked in, all smiles with his puzzle pieces popping off as usual. But listen, just like the whole 44 Panthers situation and Chigure earlier in the Nigeria match, I just know Kunagami is pissed off watching this unfold. Bro has barely gotten more than a couple touches on the ball in the past month. Meanwhile, Reo is out here better utilizing his skill set to assist others. I mean, I would be distraught. Anyways, Isagi's smile quickly fades into a worried expression as France's new generation 11 midfielder Hugo appears from his left. He completely wraps an arm around Isagi just as the pass is coming in, telling him that while Blue Lock as a whole may be impressive, Isagi Yoichi himself is a different story. With Isagi left in a tight spot, we see him forced to chest trap the ball, with his expression turning horrified as Hugo completely breaks down Isagi's scoring weapon, the twin gun volley. Hugo explains the 2-gun volley, saying that when Isagi shoots while turning in a face-to-face situation, he uses his left leg as a feint, making the course of the shot impossible for defenders to predict. However, Hugo points out that if you can crash into him before the feint even happens, you can completely annihilate the shot. He tells Isagi straight up, and it's honestly pretty ironic, that his weapon is useless when faced against targeted logic. Isagi can be shut down. With Hugo completely isolating Isagi's movements and standing behind him like the Great Wall of China. I mean, this man looks huge. Isagi scrambles to think about what to do as the ball drops down in front of him and bounces. He looks up and sees both itoshi and kaiser open for a pass, but Hugo is right on him, breathing down his neck and practically mocking him as he reads everything perfectly. Isagi is even thinking to himself that this guy is predicting his movements flawlessly. Hugo then confirms it out loud, explaining that if they neutralize the shooting angle before the feint once again, the 2-gun volley becomes useless. Looking ahead to see 2 of his teammates, Isagi starts to feel a bit relieved, thinking that with some help, he might be able to make it out of this situation. But the problem is he actually focuses in, both Rin and kaiser are already being marked by French defenders and are completely locked up. Leaning in on some freaky timing to whisper right into Isagi's ear, Hugo goes on to explain that if they shut down the forwards and leave Isagi with nowhere to pass, then he's cooked. Basically, if they crush Isagi Yoichi, a chain reaction will occur and Blue Lock will be dead in the water. And tell me that doesn't sound familiar, because it was the exact same way Japan approached shutting down a Nazi in the Nigeria match. Just a cool little detail I found. With another double spread, Isagi stands 10 toes down and refuses to bow to the new generation. He stares Hugo straight in the eyes while pulling the ball back and planting a hand on his chest, calling him a logic freak and telling him to shut his mouth. Isagi says that he has already made it this far by devouring people just like him. With pure aura in his eyes, Isagi declares that he wants to break the number ones of the world. Hugo, however, looks completely unfazed, and with his text bubbles blacked out, he asks how that's even possible when Isagi's aptitude is nothing more than second place and second rate. Completely ignoring Isagi trying to aura farm and ego him, Hugo simply charges straight through him and cleanly yoinks the ball away, asking a completely unrelated question in the process. He casually asks Isagi if he believes in fate, which kinda reminds me of Ego asking him out of nowhere if he believes in God. With that, today's leaks come to an end, as Isagi is left embarrassed on the pitch and the outro text appears saying, "A new prodigy from the new generation blocks the way. That thing called logic is what shackles his ego." Now, like I said earlier, the translations might be a bit shaky here, but let me ask you, do you think that this is implying that Isagi must break away from the constraints of logic to win this match or beat these kinds of players? Or is this applying to Hugo and his possible backstory and character development? Because we know in the story of Blue Lock, having your ego shackled is a bad thing, but it could just be a mistranslation, and it could be trying to say that the core of Hugo's ego is logic, as we kind of saw him say about Twin Gun Volley. Whatever the case may be, make sure to drop your theories in the comment section down below, as I always love to hear your ideas. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy staying up to date with all things Blue Lock, and comment below any video ideas you'd like to see coming up. Thank you so much for watching this far into the video, and I'll see you in the next video shortly.